Hi there. What are you expecting today? Because whatever you expect, that's exactly what you're going to receive. Today, I want to talk to you about awareness. What is awareness? For the longest time, I did not know. My coach and mentor, Bob Proctor, here's what he says about awareness. He says, the moment you become aware of something, your mind, your brain will never go back to its former self. So when we talk about awareness, we are talking about that higher version of us, that new parallel reality. Once you become aware of it to the point of image or vision, or you're acting in that imaginal act, once you become aware of that you have acted that scene, and you understand that you have done something, and what you have done will come to manifestation, will come to light, then once you see it come to light, now you are aware of your own awareness. Okay? Now you become aware of your own awareness. Now you understand that it's your awareness that is creating circumstances. So now I would like to share with you a few personal manifestations where this has happened to me. I'm going to go from manifestation to manifestation because I'm going to drive this home to everyone that is struggling with manifesting. This particular morning, I woke up and I stretched my hand out, and all of a sudden I said, wow, you have such a beautiful hand. It was this hand, and I looked at the top of it and I said, wow, you have such a beautiful hand. And then I said, yeah, I do have such a beautiful hand. Now, this being was the awareness, and I felt as if it was something outside of myself looking down at me, and it spoke through me. It was, wow, your hand is so beautiful. No, you have such a beautiful hand. Okay? And then as I came down from that awareness into the physical, I go, yeah, I do have a beautiful hand. You see, there was an agreement. There was an agreement. There was an agreement between this higher self, that the way she sees me, and I agreed with that higher self. And because of that had to come to manifestation. 3 hours later, I had a lunch interview with a photographer so I could take some pictures for my business. And through our conversation, he reaches the hand across the table. He touches this hand and he says, wow, you have such a beautiful hand. And I said, oh, thank you. Now, you know how our mind just scans for data, and I thought, I immediately connected it with flirting. And I said, oh, I'm not interested, in my mind. I had this conversation, quick conversation, and I continued my outside real conversation with him. So I was having two conversations in one. One, it was an internal, one was external. I got home, and towards the afternoon, I said, oh my God, what I did in the morning came to reality only 3 hours later. The Book of Life says, theology, it says, when two on earth shall agree, it shall be done unto them. Now, who is the two on earth? This parallel reality of me, this higher self of me, is that awareness. It was speaking to me from that high level, and this lower level of me came into agreement. These are the two. When these two agree, when my awareness says to me something like, hey, listen, you are amazing, you are successful, and I say, yeah, I am amazing and successful. The moment I agree, this is called auto-suggestion, you are, I am, it'll come to manifestation. Okay? But this has to be done without any doubt or any insecurity in you, like, oh, I don't know what that means, like I'm beautiful. I don't know what that means if I'm successful, because I really am not. If you allow all that static, it's not going to manifest. Now, why did I experience that in that morning? Well, it's obvious because I am a teacher of this material. I have been coached and mentored by Bob Proctor, and these experiences have to happen because it is who I am. I am a teacher, and I cannot teach from someone else's experience. I only teach from my experience, and then I ask questions and I try to figure out what happened. Who was that spoke to me? Why, when I agreed, came out? And now I put things together so I can come and give to you the knowledge with the understanding, which is knowledge and application. So how do you feel? How does this awareness feel like in comparison with this lower self? So the awareness is the higher self, and That's another reality, and here is your real self. Now you already know how the real self feels, the state of being of this real self. The awareness, I'm going to tell you how she feels or how it feels. It's always excited. It always praises. It always speaks of the well. It always speaks of the good. It only sees the good. Well, it was obvious because it praised my hand, okay? In a video that I have posted in our Facebook private group community, I said that we are praise, we are gratitude, we are asking and receiving, we are prayer, we are awareness, we are consciousness. I am that which I am. I am everything. I am everything. So we are praise. If you grew up in the church, you might have heard this, praise God. And we would say, you are so amazing, you are so faithful, you are the creator of the stars, and you are the creator of the whole earth. That is that higher awareness that creates everything. It's that awareness that creates. And it's my agreement with that awareness that brings that higher awareness or that creation into the physical. So when Neville talks about when the I am agrees with the state of being, it will be done for them. It will be manifested. It's referring to when you create a new reality of you, a new identity of you, and you agree, this lower identity agrees with the higher identity, that the moment you agree, that higher identity collapses and it becomes this new identity. You're putting it like a cloak on you. Your agreement, it's like you're covering yourself with it. But you see, my awareness has eyes, right? It was seeing what I used to see all my life. I had to agree because when I looked at my hand, I said, you know what? I actually do like my hand. I don't like to be in the sun. It doesn't have spots. It still looks pretty young. But see, this was not the internal conversation. It was in the moment when I said, you know what? My hand does look beautiful. Whatever you find beautiful right now, for example, you can look at your car and say, I do have a beautiful car, right? All of a sudden, that car becomes beautiful. You maintain its life. You give it life because of your spoken word. So what about if your higher awareness says, listen, instead of looking at this car you have, I want to show you a different picture of you with that car that you want, because I know you're not really praising this car. You're actually, I know in your heart, I know your heart that you're praising this other car. All you have to do is see that car, meaning every time you drive in this car, see the other car and praise. Now the praise for that car that is in your higher self, in that another reality, the praise for that car, it turns into you praising this car, right? Meaning you hold a picture of your Tesla, but while you're driving this car, right, you're saying you are so amazing. Oh, car, you are so amazing. Why? Because you are in the car. Physically, you're there. You're touching the car. So you are in the present moment. You're speaking of a car. If you're in the car, you speak of a car. But you're bringing your praise, right? Or you're praising that image of you with that car, or you're praising that car. And you say, you are so. That's your awareness. All of a sudden you look at this car and you pretend and you think it's the other one. And then through your praise, you say, yeah, it is, it is, it is. And so that collapses and comes into your reality. You can also take a picture, for example, of your car, put it on a vision board, and this is how you implicate yourself with it emotionally. You see, this emotional act, I like to consider it a relationship. You begin to build a relationship with that car right now. Everything is a relationship. Everything is spiritual. Everything is a relationship and everything is spiritual. For example, if you really, really love your phone, you have a good relationship with it. You sleep with it underneath your pillow. You take it to work. You take it to the bathroom. You take it in the kitchen. You take it in the bathtub. You take it when you sit on the toilet. You see the relationship that you have built with the phone. No wonder it's being protected and taken care of. Now, what about if you build a relationship with that picture of that car? I take this car everywhere with me. Where? In your imagination. Where? Post pictures of the car everywhere. And I'm guilty with that because I don't have that. And then you build that relationship right now. It's your higher awareness of you with the car, with the slower awareness, which you're so familiar to. And the moment you build that strong bond and stronger relationship, it has to come. Now I'm going to share another story with you, how I used perception, because this is when you have to use perception, meaning you look at this car, but you use perception to flip it and say you're in another car. I came from a trip, a 3-day trip with my daughter, and I left my luggage in the living room. It was underneath the desk behind the sofa. 2 weeks into it, I had this conversation, this mental conversation. Now, who leaves a luggage in the living room and keeps taking things out of it for 2 weeks and every day? You remember your friend? Every time she came out of her trip, she would put her luggage away right away. And I had this conversation because we have conversation with things, with people, we have conversations. And immediately I stopped myself and I said, who's talking to me? I said, who tells me that I am actually taking things out of the luggage? I said, I'm actually putting things in the luggage. You see, right in the present moment, in the circumstance, no matter where you find yourself, if your SP says, I don't want you, you say, who tells me he doesn't want me? Who tells me she doesn't want me? I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. Oh, you do want me. Pardon me. But that's not what this is all about. That's not what this is. I'm going to use perception. I'm going to pretend it's something else. So what did I do with my luggage? I said, who tells me I'm taking things out of the luggage? Who says that this act of me taking out, it's called taking out? What if I decide that this action, this activity, acting, is actually putting in? Who says that when I am driving to the store, I'm not driving to Florida? Who says that? I deny my present reality, and if I deny it, right, I starve it, and the other one has to come. I give life to that. So I said, you know what? I'm actually packing you, and we're going on another trip. And I felt so good. My vibration rose so high. I felt so good because I took care of the problem in the present moment. An hour later, a friend of mine calls me up, and because my vibration was high, here's what I said. Hey, why don't we do something spontaneous? You know what he said? Hey, you want to go on the beach? Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When I said, hey, we're going on another trip, those were my thoughts, but I didn't have a picture of where I wanted to go. In that moment, I turned to the left, and next to my desk, there was a vision board. On the vision board, there were two people that were walking as if through the middle of the ocean. I don't know where this place is. I think it's Bahamas, but it was like a wide sand strip in between the water, and two people were holding hands. And when I said, hey, we're going on another trip, it's not enough to speak, right? Because your speech is your thoughts, but you've got to implicate the soul or imagination. Mind, soul, and body. The mind is the thought, the body is the speech, because your body forms the speech, right? It releases that thought, that energy, but you have to connect it with an image. And so what I did was I said, hey, you know what? We're going on another trip. And my eyes turned, and immediately I connected and I said beach. That hour, like I said, my friend calls up and says, hey, why don't we go on the beach? I'm like, hello? So what happened? When you take care of a situation in the present moment, something has to happen. You make a decision in the present moment to say, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. What did you say? This is when you have to be stubborn and almost obnoxious. But it's not with the person. It's not with the circumstance. It's with your own thoughts. You see, I had this self-talk. Me and the luggage were having this conversation. And it was not going anywhere. It was not going anywhere well. Right? If I was going to allow that luggage to overpower me, then the thing that I created controls me. And that's not the way it is. I'm the human that created the luggage. I must have control over it. I'm the one that created this relationship. Therefore, I'm the one that can recreate it. It's not the person that's the problem. It's the conversations that you have with the person that have turned into the physical reality, and now we are blaming a partner. We are blaming someone else. They have only acted according to the scene and to the mental conversation. And that's why I say that when you break up from an SP, the secret is to not react, but rather to say, who says that you are breaking up with me? Who says that we are broken up? Now, in that moment, you make a decision, you use perception, and you flip it upside down and say, this does not look like a breakup. This looks like this is going to get us stronger. And I'll tell you what, you go even further, right? You say, I'll tell you what, luggage, I'm taking you on another trip. You say to your SP, and I'll tell you what, you just married me. You're married to me. You're actually married to me. And when you say that, connect a picture in your mind, maybe you and him face to face, or you in a wedding dress and him in a tuxedo, or whatever. That's why you need to have these things on the vision board, because the time will come when you will have to connect with them emotionally. This was an emotional act. This was a relationship between my thoughts and the object outside of me. But it's all thoughts, and thoughts are spirit. And words are releasing the spirit, and words don't return unto you void. So understand how awareness works. You always have to be almost as if you're outside of the body, outside of that circumstance. Every time something happens that you don't like, come out of your body, right? Become aware of it and say, wait a minute, hold on a second. You said I cannot take my luggage in the plane because it's 2 inches long? Oh, I'm sorry. Go in your mind and say, you know what? No, I actually can take my luggage. I know you're going to allow me to take my luggage like this. Watch how that person is going to turn around and says, you know what? It's okay. 2 inches long. We have room up there. You can take it in. Don't worry about it. Why? Why can't they change their mind? They can when you change your mind. Your SP can change his or her mind when you change your mind. You see what I mean? Anything that is outside of you is a resource. You're the source and they are the resource. A resource, they are a source as well. But they are giving to you that which you need. They become a resource for you. When you see yourself in the mind with your SP, that he or she is saying or doing something to you or marrying you, they become a resource for you. Everything outside of you is a resource. But in their own reality, they're a source of their own, and you become their resource. That's why you must build this relationship from source to source. You are his resource, and he is your resource, or he or she. So understand that you as a source, you have to create something. And when you create through this awareness, this assumption, through your perception, in this way, what happens is they have to conform. They become that resource, which means they have to bring it to you. They become your servant. They are a resource now. Now, in their life, you become a resource for them. If they have a mental healthy relationship with you, and you tell them the things that they want to hear, and you do things for them that they want to have done to them, you become their resource. They're the source, and I'm the resource. So this could lead us into thinking, okay, so let me think about it now. If I'm dealing and I'm going through this circumstance, through this situation, let me ask myself, who actually manifested this? You can play around like that and you can say, wait a minute, who manifested this? Are these my thoughts or your thoughts? Right? And you can do that with people or circumstances that those people or circumstances, they're not aware that you are the creator. So you need to ask yourself, now wait a minute, why is this person coming into my reality? What did I agree with previously? Was there a higher awareness of me that agreed with this lower awareness of me? What did we agree upon? I tell my children, don't go after what's popular in school, because what's popular and what you agree with becomes a part of you. And I said, don't agree with people just so you can become popular. I said, because you don't want to play that role. Usually people that are popular, they have their own mentality, and usually it doesn't serve them. And I said, even if you don't want to be popular, I said, anything that you speak with another person under the assumption that you want to be liked by them or be part of their group or their life, I said, if you don't like what you hear, don't come into agreement. Therefore, you should say, I don't want them part of my life. So can we change circumstances? Can we change our resources? We can change our resource. Everything is a resource. Your money is a resource. Your SP is a resource. Your car is a resource. Your house is a resource. The phone is a resource. I am a resource. You are my resource. In my reality, you're my resource. In your reality, I am your resource. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say about awareness. If you watch this video over and over again, you can break down the story. I do that in my program, Manifest Without Money, where I take personal stories, manifestations, and I break them down, and I have knowledge and understanding that I bring into it. I have studied for months in Proctor Gallagher Institute. I also do outside study and I have personal experiences. And so I have put this program together, Manifest Without Money, because I want to help everyone change their life. And when you are plugged in into a group, into a community, then life begins to change quickly, because the energy that is in the group, the energy that you have surrounded with the people that are changing the way they're thinking, and they're feeding their soul exactly what it is that they want to experience in the physical, then your vibration rises. You say, hey, you know what, if it happens to her, it can happen to me. If it happened to him, it can happen to me. So you have this momentum that you build up. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to tell you about awareness, what that awareness is, and how you use it, how you use your perception, how you must connect a decision with an image, and how that image comes into reality, and how quickly. It shouldn't take a long time, okay? And how you raise your vibration. You just raise your vibration that quickly. There's other times, and in the program I teach you how to raise your vibration. We have 6 steps of creation and manifestation. What I have shared with you now, there are 6 steps. Now I can't break them down one by one through the story, but if you have something that you think is so difficult to manifest, then those 6 steps are going to break down everything in details. We are talking about the 6 gifts of mind. We're talking about the laws of the universe, and then you can create at will, in the sense that if it's something that you think is hard to create, once you use this formula, the 6 steps, they work just the same. But you become more aware of all the intricacies, so that you can free yourself from this thinking that it's too hard or it's too difficult. So that's the benefit of the program. Sometimes you listen to videos and you think you understand, but if you don't break down my personal manifestations right now, you're not going to be able to replicate them in your own life. So you want to be able to replicate, right? Hey, if it happened to her, it can happen to me. And let me see, what today will I experience? Because trust me, if you watch this video, you are going to encounter a circumstance that is going to ask you to apply exactly what I've shared with you, because this is how it works. What we look at, what we hear, becomes part of our future. And in the future, this becomes part of your past. I say this all the time. Your past and future are already contained within you. This lower awareness with that higher awareness are already contained within you. They're just waiting to make contact. They're just waiting to make agreement. But once again, you can see I could go in so many directions. So I'm going to stop right here. Thank you so much for watching. Please share, subscribe, like, and I will see you in the program. If that is a decision that you make, I leave that up to you. All right now, bye.